Why did the Russian coup by the Wagner Group fail? Before we get into that, this is Crisis Report, and to keep these reports coming, remember to like the video and subscribe. Right. Thanks. The short answer is he didn't read the book to understand how to commit a coup d'etat. And we're going to take a quick look here at the book by Gregor Ferguson, Coup d'etat Practical Manual. I have the copy I got way back in 1987 when this was first published. And on page, actually on page 87, chapter 5 here, blinding and deafening. Any media for mass communications must be seized before loyalists get their hands on them. Newspapers can be ignored for the time being as properly enhanced capital. Right. But as it goes on and says, electronic media must be gagged and then used on behalf of the plotters. Every means every radio and TV station. Right. Well, of course, this book was written back before 1987, and it is somewhat out of date. They did not have the internet. So the first thing you do in any coup is to seize the means of communication. That is step one, because even if you don't have the principles that are currently in charge, whether it's another dictator, president, whatever, you want to get somebody, you want to, one, deny the means of communication to your enemy, and two, you want to put your story out there immediately. You want to have someone come on the report saying the president has signed his resignation, and that resignation puts General X in charge of the nation. All hail the new president, General X. Even if it's not true, even if they haven't secured anything, you want to create not just, the lack of the enemy communication. You want to create the doubt for any potential opposition forces to even want to oppose your actions, because you don't want to be a lieutenant, a captain, a general, or a bunch of civilians out there opposing the new leader in your country, because if he's already won, well, hey, so you want to pause a moment and figure out what's going on. That gives time for the coup plot, the coup activists, the plotters, to seize the current leadership. The buildings themselves, the structures, really no longer matter so much as they did in the past. So what if someone has the parliamentary building of some country or the defense ministry? It doesn't matter. You need to secure the legislature, those people who are the legislature. You need to secure the president, the dictator. You need to secure the heads of the ministries. You need to secure the deputy heads of ministries. You need to have all of these people on a list with the idea of their location, and hand out different lists to different task groups, like we see. They're guys with guns to go secure these people. Here's their expected address. This is who you need to secure. And it's often more important, maybe not so much the president or the dictator you're overthrowing, but somebody like the legislature. You don't want to kill them. You want them controlled, because you want them to affirm you are the new leader your group is the new leadership, the new junta, the new whatever. And this is why Prigozhin failed and, chose all of these images here with forethought. Now, the story currently being circulated, and I have high doubts about that story, was, now the first part of this, okay, I'll buy that. Wagner Group personnel were going to be rolled in under the Ministry of Defense. Prigozhin was no longer going to be the owner of the mercenary corps or whatever, and they were going to be under direct control of the Russian Ministry of Defense, which means that they're going to become, even if the units themselves still continued to function as their current structure, they were going to be a part of the army and under the orders of the army. I think some of this was being pushed because the Wagner Group was not responding to orders, shall we say, on the front line to attack or whatever. And that, if you're you want to try to coordinate attack on, say, two prongs and one prong, they don't feel like it today. That's a problem. Now, whether the orders that were being given to the Wagner units were good orders, were competent orders, were doable orders, I have no clue and comment to make on that. And so whether you want to call it a disbanding of Wagner Group or just rolling it into, the Russian Ministry of Defense, I believe that very well may have happened, or be the one of the catalysts. Another catalyst I think might be was, I think he was a colonel, I forget. Saw it in my live stream. Less than 24 hours before the start of the coup, another Russian commander committed suicide because of his regret over the loss of the lives of so many of his men dying in combat. So I have no idea whether the guy committed suicide or not, but we know way too many people fall out of windows in Russia. So there very well may be the idea that Prigozhin already thought his days were numbered and needed to do something about that. To me, he's a dead man walking right now. I find it dubious that the story, like I said, was going around that they were going to just turn over their heavy equipment at Rostov-on-Don, headquarters there, and then leave. Go back to fighting in Africa and the Middle East and wherever. If some commander who, I'm not going to buy mistook his orders, but decided to exceed his orders and secure the facility without Prigozhin's approval, it would have been super easy for Prigozhin to show up, order them to immediately, leave all heavy equipment and leave the area, and Prigozhin, pledge publicly his undying loyalty to Putin. But he did not. And a convoy starts north towards Moscow. And it gets remarkably far. I will say this. Now the only combat video that I've seen attributed to this is shooting down of aircraft. So this is a military invasion, if you will, of Russia. Forces that may have been previously in Ukraine invaded Russia, took over Rostov-on-the-Don, and started a march on Moscow. You just don't do this and succeed and get to continue. Putin has already said the perpetrators will be brought to, I don't know if he said brought to justice. I was just listening to some translations, but will be dealt with, shall we say. And also, all is forgiven to most of the Wagner people and leadership who were all loyal Russian citizens and did not participate in this action. All is forgiven with them. Putin can't have any of them, no matter what he says on television, any of them running around loose, either as a military unit in Belarus or as people going home to their families. Can't have any of that. He can have them as individuals get moved into the Russian military, but he cannot have them running around. And Prigozhin, like I say, whether it's a poisoning, the old umbrella with a needle on the end and some poison in it, or, in the food, or a firing squad, or an airplane crash, whatever, falling out a window, because he's, heartbroken over, what happened. He's going to be dealt with. And I don't see his quote-unquote bodyguards. What incentive do they have? They've all got families in Russia. It's the FSB, I'm sure, can find out who these bodyguards are and who their families are, and have a quick word and say, well, your family's done for if you don't, unlock the door at midnight on some day or something, and, allow him, Prigozhin, to be. I think it might be a move to put Prigozhin on trial for treason, but I can't see Putin allowing him to continue. And I don't understand what the hell he was thinking. Though it does look like, and this is also going to be another reason why Prigozhin has to be dealt with, is all the popular sentiment that he seems to have had with people on Rostov-on-the-Don when he was leaving. And it may be a very small faction of people, but that their visible support for him will be more of his death warrant. So that is why the coup failed. I would have my doubts about, you would have to succeed in a coup like this, you would have to take out Putin very rapidly, because even if you have people who can secure the facility, the modern day telecommunication facilities, and shut down the internet, you have to do that. You have to shut down the internet. And shut down, the cell phone networks, and shut all that down. And preferably to still have communication, though, of course, we can see here he is smart enough that he has a radio on him, and not probably has a cell phone too, but who knows. Had there been the column that did the North March already be in Moscow as a, just before any of this nonsense started, just drive up there, don't even tell the troops why they're going. Oh, they're getting ready for a parade or award ceremony or whatever it is. and then get there and know where you need to go and who you need to storm to secure with surprise. That's the only possible way this could have succeeded, but it's just madness. So, yep, that's why the coup failed. And it definitely, if not starting out as a coup, it became a coup attempt. So, thanks everyone. I hope I've earned your subscription. If you have any comments, questions, please post them below. See you next time as news develops.